10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 3 of the V8 Masters 2021, brought to you by Marine Industrial Coatings from Namibia, as well as SRAC, who is hosting this championship. With me tonight in the commentators booth is the usual one and only keyboard warrior, Mr. Cleopas.
Hey everyone! This is gonna be an epic race. V8 Masters, V8 engines, noise, the sound of our peoples. Woo! I'm excited. How are you feeling, Tommy?
I'm definitely excited. This is round number 3, coming live to you from Zwartkops Raceway, and it's the first time that they'll be racing without any weight penalties added to the cars. So it's going to be a little bit more tricky out there with the car control, also the way the cars handle, and then the track temperatures and grip all around. But overall, I'm quite excited. I've been watching some of the times, and I have to tell you, man, oh man, it is fast out there.
You guys are flying out there. You thought the Polos were fast? These V8 Masters are so much faster. Or are they? We'll see when we get into the race.
Well, you said last week you were hoping for someone to actually break into that, 1 minute barrier or below the 1 minute barrier, and we saw now in the practice session that it actually happened.
Yes, that is so true. They're under a minute, so these guys are flying. For my Afrikaans word for the day, they are blitzvinnig. So yes, this is going to be epic. And that's during practice, mind you. let's see what happens during quali when the guys actually push it to the limit.
Yeah, no, the guys are busy getting the server reset and up and running, and then we will get qualifying started shortly. Just to have a little bit of a look on our sponsors, we have our main sponsor called Marine Industrial Coatings, all the way from Walvis Bay, Namibia. They do any and all restorations and fix-ups and building new ships and boats and whatever you can think of out there. So feel free to contact them and support the local businesses. Even if you are not local in Namibia, I'm pretty sure they can actually make a plan to assist you in fixing up your marine equipment. And then again, just a little bit of a look at the calendar for the upcoming events. Today we are live from Zwartkops, like I've mentioned. Then we've got East London in 2 weeks' time. After that will be Tony Rust, and then Killarney, and the finals will be at Kyalami the 5th of December. So please do stay tuned, follow the YouTube channel and support your drivers. Always feel free to give a little bit of a shout out there on the YouTube channel, show your support and love to your drivers, and then we can always mention it on the YouTube channel as well. Like we've said, we are racing at Zwartkops Raceway today. This track consists out of 8 corners. Turn 1 is a very nice fast left-hander. We get into a hard braking zone for turn 2 in that hairpin. Coming down again into a fast right-hander into turn 3. After which you have to get a little bit on the brakes for turn 4. Going down a straight again, hard on the brakes for turn 5. A little bit of a slower straight with that nice S going through turn 6 and 7. Coming down to the start finish, you get a very hard left-hander for turn 8, and then you will run down the main straight and finish your lap out there. But we will run through the track as it comes to qualifying as well. A little bit of an update on the weather too. We've got some nice weather out there today. It's 23 degrees Celsius. I think that will make for some good track grip and temperatures, but it can be a little bit of a problem, seeing that the warmer the track is and the more grip there is, the more the tires gets burnt away and you lose grip and the cars becomes a little bit slippery. And yeah, we'll have to see. It's going to be interesting, and I just hope that it's going to be some great racing out there tonight. And then also just a little bit of a look of the trophies that is up for grabs. We've got the Marine Industrial Coatings SRAC V8 2 and 3 that the top 3 drivers will be getting at the end of this event. Like I said, the finals is the 5th of December. That will then, get us up onto that one as well. So I think the guys is ready for qualifying. I'm not too sure if the server's up. Cleo, can you see whether the guys is out on the track yet?
Yep, guys on the track. The guy Basil just put in his first lap. So everyone has basically done their out lap so far. It's just that Basil put in his first lap of a 1 minute .083, and he's going purple on all the sectors so far. He just needs the third sector, and then he might go into the 59s as he did before. So the server is up, and yeah.
Well, I am into the server. I'm just waiting for my live timings to update. There we go. Basil coming in a 1 minute 4 seconds around the track. Sliding it a little bit there into turn 1. I'm actually going to go on board with him so that we can see a little bit of a quick lap out there as he's now running through turn 3 like we've mentioned, which is that fast right-hander coming into the braking zone, hard on the brakes, going through turn 4, getting a nice drive out there, and unfortunately losing the back end. Seems like he's pushing a little bit hard to get up into that position for pole position.
That is so true. These are not those polos. This is rear wheel drive, all that torque. You have to be really easy on that throttle input. No lead foots are allowed driving these cars. You have to be tender. Walk like as if you're walking on high heels. Not that I actually know how it is to walk in high heels, but you've seen any lady who wears them, how they actually walk.
Cleo?
Very tender, very delicate.
Cleo, you are giving your own secrets away here. Now
can I
you just made it publicly known
What
that
can
you know how it is to walk on high heels.
What can I say?
And you
Take
you
simply
even
my-
have the you even have the guts to compare sim racing and racing V8 Masters to walking in high heels.
for everyone to relate. We are open to everyone, and everyone should join us. So if you think you can't drive a car with high heels or anything, I'm here to tell you it can be done. How I know these things, we leave that for another stream.
Yeah, no, definitely clear. One of a kind out there. I see we have a few people with us in the YouTube channel. We've got about 8 viewers at the moment. We would like to see that number still increase a bit. We've got Peter Geldenhuis who's actually out on the track driving, saying hello and good luck to everyone. Melvin Hoos is out on the track also having a say there. I don't know why these guys that is actually driving that's busy talking on the YouTube channel. It just does not make sense. But again, that just makes us known how good these guys are, seeing that they can be chatting away as well as focusing on driving.
Who said men can't multitask? I'm just saying to say that. Like, these guys are doing what needs to be done. They're busy quickly saying hi to everyone and getting amped for this race.
Yeah, it's just, we always used to joke and say, you're not allowed to text and drive, but clearly these guys are racing and texting. That's just taking it to another level.
I hope the FIA is not really watching the stream in that sense. Guys can lose their licenses.
Yeah, no, definitely. I see the times is starting to come in. The guys are flying around the track. We've got Basil doing a 1 minute point 083, almost breaking into the 59s there, comfortably sitting in pole position. Then we've got Mr. Donny van Rooyen in that very nice blue and red AMD Ford Performance Mustang of his in second position with a 1 minute point 527. Behind him, not very far behind him, we've got James Crook in the number 80 SRAC Mustang with that 1 minute 581. So that's about a .5 of a second, .05 of a second gap between James and Donny. Then we've got, and someone just jumped up there into third position, Michael Rust in a very nice Galaxy looking SRAC Ford Mustang doing a 1 minute point 550. So he's .03 of a second faster than James now with about 7.5 minutes left of qualifying. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to take which position, but it's going to be a fight till the end of qualifying, and then when the racing starts, again, going to be a fight all the way down. As Mr. Craig Wesley and James just overtakes Michael Russ as well as Donny now. Now Craig Wesley is in second position with a 1 minute point 382. And then we've got James Crook that moved up into third position with a 1 minute 491. I think I need to stop actually mentioning the times because I'm going to keep going back and forth on the positions here, Cleo.
That is true. And Danny just breaks into the 59s. He just did it. He went purple in the first sector and third sector and improved in his middle sector. Just wanted to flex. But then again, I've always heard that Danny van Rooyen is like a beast behind the wheel when it comes to rear-wheel drive cars. So that's why he's asserting his authority on this at the moment. So this is going to be very, very intense what we're actually going to see.
Yeah, no, and then I just have to give a little bit of a shout out here. I have to mention this. We've got Mr. Melvin Goos, that's currently sitting in 9th position. And then we've got Yandre, who's in 12th position, who actually took first place yesterday in a rally competition up in Namibia. So it's not just in sim racing that they go all out, it's also in the real world, in real racing. Very well done to Melvin and Yandre for that very nice first position in the rally.
That was so awesome that they actually did that. I didn't get to see it in real life in person, but obviously we saw the videos. Wow, that Ranger was driven like a beast. Jandre is such a beast behind the wheel. Melvin's calm and collected, busy navigating for him. It was awesome. I'm so proud of those guys. So happy that those guys managed to do what they're doing, and they're here today racing again. So that just shows when you have petrol in your blood, you just have to keep on racing.
Yeah, no, definitely. Cleo, just for a little while, can you keep the guys company? I just quickly need to make a run to the men's room.
No problem. So we are now alone again, people. now it's, I think, time for me to actually tell you the story about my life, when I was born, how I fought in the wars. I'm lying. Let me just keep you up to date on what's actually happening on the track right now. So I can see Basil's improving on his time. He actually pipped Danny van Rooyen to actually get into pole. So we have two drivers breaking the 1 minute barrier, as we can see. James Crook is in P3, trying his best to also do it, but he's a little off on his deltas in the different sectors, so he's struggling a little. So all the drivers look like they're sort of washing out a bit, like they're pushing it just a little too far. Like Peter Clandenes, he's actually going red on all of his sectors, meaning that he's really like a lot slower than he usually was in his laps. But then again, track is rubbering in. There's still 4 minutes left of this whole this qualifying session, so a lot of things can actually happen there. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what these guys are actually going to do.
Cleo,
Jumping onto the YouTube, yeah.
just a little bit of a sad situation. The people will see that I've got a photo up on the YouTube channel. It is one of the drivers that used to race with us in the sim world. He also used to do some racing in the real world in, the normal, what do you call that, remote control cars and things like that. His name is Rowan Bower, and we sadly lost him earlier. I think it was late last week that we actually lost him. I'm not too sure what happened, but he passed away. And I would just like to ask for everyone on the YouTube channel, as well as for you and me, to just quickly have a moment of silence just to pay some respects to him and his family. I mean, he was part of SRA when we started out, and I just feel we need to give him a little bit of a shout out as well. Thank you, Cleo, for that one, and for everyone else that's on the YouTube channel, just paying some respects to Rowan out there for us as well.
It's always touching when this happens, and we also forget that even though we race in virtual worlds, stuff happens in the real world, and it's sad when we lose another sim racer. But we must honor him with going forward and pushing and continuing that type of legacy of continuing to race, continuing to play, continuing to be friendly with one another. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. I know he hasn't been racing with us as much lately. But like I said, I'm not too sure what happened, but it is sad to say that we have lost one of our members. But again, thanks to everyone that is paying their respects to him, and we do appreciate it very much. Back into the racing times, I see two people are now into the 59s. Would you like to give us a little bit of an update on that, Cleo?
That is Basil and Danny still. Basil actually improved a little bit on his 59, so he's at 59.651. Danny's still at 59.964. But in the middle of the pack, though, you can see that the guys are all really struggling for grip. We actually had a little bit of an incident on the start-finish straight where I don't know what exactly happened. Not start-finish straight, sorry, the back straight. It was Peter Kobler and I think it was Andre Basson. They touched and went off, and Peter went into the barrier. So yeah, these guys are pushing these cars as hard as they can, but as we know, these cars don't grip that well. As we can also see, James Cook all the way down to Peter Geldenays, which is P8. So P3 to P8 is all basically within a second of one another. And then when we jump into P9 with Vuro Dippenaar, Vuro's really fighting this car. And this is not a normal time that we see Vuro actually put in, but he's sitting in P8 at the moment. J-Day Bearden, he's actually the new driver of ours. He's a 1-1, so he's actually also trying to push. And just imagine, Vuro's really fast. And J-Day is doing what Vuro's doing. Andre Basson, as we know, another new guy. I think this is his third race with us, and he's also pushing his car. And the winner, Jean-Ray Dependant, getting the 10 and Anthony Marie.
Yeah, no, JJ is a new driver. This is actually his first race out with SRAC, and he's attempting the V8 Masters, which is not a very easy car to drive. And I have to just give a shout out there to Mr. Peter Grobler himself, the man behind the cars, and also some of these tracks that we have the privilege of racing on. And then also just to all of the SRAC admin members, thank you very much for all of the efforts and inputs that you guys put into SRAC and making all of these races possible for us. It does mean a lot to us, and we appreciate everything that you do for the sport as well as the community that we call home of SRAC. Well, that is the end of qualifying, so you'll see the guys are loading out of the server, and so will we, and we'll be jumping back into the racing for race 1 in a few minutes. Just need to get the server restarted and get everyone ready in the pits, changing those tires, refueling the cars, getting the last bit of setup done, and then we'll get going shortly.
Yep, this is going to be an epic race, an epic one.
Well, Clear, I see you and I are alone in the commentator's booth. Well, actually, we're not. I see Melvin has sneaked in here. I hope he's actually available for a little bit of a chat. We'll have to see if he can actually unmute his mic and then talk to us and tell us a little bit of how the track is feeling out there, seeing that we can't be taking the cars around the track ourselves.
This is what always happens when you leave the keys laying around. Someone will come, pick them up, and sneak into the booth all the time. You have to have a firm grip on these keys.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, it's a bit of a slippy affair out there, and yeah, we're still all a bit tired from yesterday, so the concentration is not what it should be. But we're gonna have fun. Gonna go for the points. There's no weight in the cars, so it's a bit different than 2 weeks back. But I think the times are close. Basil and Don in a league of their own at this stage. But from there, it's going to be a nice close battle for the podium, I think, for third place, actually.
Speaking of podium, well done to you and Jandre for your first position yesterday. I'm pretty sure
Thanks.
he's driving had a lot to do with it, but if it wasn't for your navigation, it might have been a different story out there.
It was a lot of fun. Really had a lot of fun. I can't say anything more. I mean, I'm speechless.
Well, I think it's your first one in how many, or in how long that you've been actually out on the, or in a racing car?
3 years?
Sure, it's been a long time, eh?
Yeah.
Now I can understand why you say you're hurting in places where you didn't know you've got places.
That I can promise you.
So,
Well,
that is one thing we're so happy for you and so proud of what you guys are doing. Like, that is awesome. And yeah, I'm just happy. I'm celebrating right now.
Thanks, guys.
It's all good, all good. Well, good luck out there, Melvin, and I'm pretty sure that everything will be going smoothly. We do know with the V8 Masters, it is a little bit of a waiting game when it comes to the racing. You can't push it too hard due to the tires and things. It becomes a little bit more slippery out there. So you basically just have to maintain consistency and capitalize on other drivers' mistakes. So have fun and enjoy it. Cleo, I see the guys is busy loading in for the race. Let's
Yes, they
jump
are.
in there, and then we can get this one going.
Yep, let's see how this one actually plays out. It's going to be quite epic. V8's tight track. That third corner, that hairpin, woo! Or second corner, sorry. That hairpin's going to be really, really action-packed. Let's see who's going to get that back into step out, who's going to hold it and catch the slide.
I think actually turn 2 might not be the worst to go through. I think the worst corner to go through is most probably going to be the turn 8, the one just before you get to the start finish, because you need to get that drive through there and get on the acceleration just at the right time. So I'm pretty sure it's going to end up with some people slipping and sliding going through there. And then as well, turn 4 is going to be another tricky one, because you're coming down a very fast straight. and you have to get on the brakes but not lose your momentum, and then you tend to get on the power a little bit early there, and then you also might end up losing it through the corner there.
Oh, I get exactly what you mean, because guys are pushing it to the limit there, and they also don't want to lose positions there. So you actually have to be really patient and understand that, wait, this car's on the edge already. If I jump on the gas now, we might end up in the barriers.
Yeah, no, definitely. I've got this very nice looking Mustang there, the PZN Bodyworks Mustang from Basel at the moment, the number 99. And I must say, it is a very nice looking Mustang. These guys do put in a lot of time and effort into getting these cars sorted and getting their liveries done for the racing. And yes, we do know that, it's not physically having to get the body work and everything done, but it does take a lot of time to actually sit and paint these cars in the game and to get your details up, or your decals the way you want it, and get the actual cars to look as great as what they do out there on the track.
And that's 100%, because just like I said, some of these guys actually race in real life. They have other jobs that are 9 to 5. And they're now doing this graphic design work on their cars virtually, then also racing. Yeah, these multi-talented individuals that we have over here. And it's just amazing. Like, can you imagine if you had a Mustang GT and you put that livery on it? Yeah, no one will forget you. No one will. It looks awesome.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, the guys are starting on the grid at the moment. We've got about a minute and 25 seconds left before this one gets going. And Cleo, I'm gonna give you the lead on this one to take them off the line for race 1 of round 3 live at Zwartkops.
That is so much pressure that you're giving me for this race. Like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do. Like, should I stand out on the road with my hands out? Should I scream and dance? Like, that's a lot of pressure for me. That's a lot of pressure.
Well, let's just keep our cars off the track and get them back in the pits as soon as possible. I do note that the two of us is at the back trying to play the safety car at the moment, but let's try and get out of their way as quickly as possible. We can't take on them, or we can't take them on in this race. I don't think we're in the same class as they are.
Not at all, not at all. Like, I do not have the skill. Before we actually start, I just want to give a shout out to Neil Rabi, who's in the YouTube. Welcome. I think this is the first time you actually joined me on this. So welcome. I hope you enjoy it. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you also jump in the future.
Yeah, no, definitely. So guys, please give us a like on the YouTube channel, follow and subscribe the link for our channel, and stay tuned to all the upcoming races. Clear, lights is on, countdown, take them off the line.
1 and 0, we go. Let's see what actually happens here.
That actually looks like Basil that was sleeping on the line. I'm not too sure what happened, but you can see.
One's in order now. This one got the first race. Jitters out now. First corner jitters. And now we're pushing our way through.
Yeah.
Craig Wilson is going in for a move.
There is 3 drivers going through the pits. That is Donnie van Rooyen, Michael Rust, and it seems to me like James Crook. All 3 of these drivers is having a drive-through penalty, which I'm pretty sure means that they actually slept on the line, or jumped the start, not slept on the line. It seemed like Basil was a bit slow off the line, but I think these drivers actually did a little bit of a jump start and now had to take a drive-through penalty, and is going to have to fight their way through the pack from the back now and see if they can get up into the front. So we've still got Basil out there in the lead in P1 with about a 1.5 second lead already over Melvin Close, who is comfortably in second position, with Mr. Craig Wesley himself in third position. And then we've got Peter Caldenace in fourth. JJ out for the first time with us in fifth position, who's got a little bit going wide and makes some contact there with Peter Grobler, and I think both of them has ended up losing out a lot of positions and will now safely rejoin into this race and keep going from there on out.
Right now, I'm actually on board on my class right now.
Yeah, it's quite interesting to see that they've actually now lost one lap with taking that drive-through penalty, where they were only supposed to just be at the back of the pack. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the race that progresses, if they're actually going to be able to move up in the field or what's going to happen out there. We still have Melvin Close in second place with Craig Wesley that is busy closing the gap there onto him. And this is going to become a fight here between these two drivers for second position. And don't throw away Peter Geldenays yet. He's in fourth position. He's one of our veteran racing drivers out there, who also, you know, puts some of his racing aside, assisting in commentating and doing some of the streaming for us in the Polo Cup. Thank you very much to him that sacrifices some of his racing as well to get the guys to actually enjoy the stream and make it fun for you guys out there.
A little update on what was happening. I was actually following the Bitcoin project. They started the Bitcoin multi-page, and then unfortunately, when JJ got into the chat, into the WhatsApp group, there was a little contact on the back straight, and John Gray went tumbling down quite a few places, and then later on, Vuru also went tumbling down quite a few places. So that was very unfortunate. The Bitcoin motorcade now sits in P9 and P10, so they're busy fighting back out there.
No, definitely. I have to again give a nice shout out here to JJ, who's doing very well out there for the first time. I see his car is lagging a little bit out on the track. I'm not too sure what his server specs is and if he's having a little bit of a ping spike or internet problems. But yeah, we're gonna have to keep an eye on it. But you can see his car is very loose on the track. Like we've mentioned, these things are super hard to actually get right and get the perfect drive out on it. So he's still learning the cars, he's new to it, and he's got James Crook all over the back of him, who is just patiently sitting back and waiting for the right opportunity to make a move there on him, while Michael Rust, if I'm not wrong, is now just ahead of them. No, that's Andre Basson, sorry, who's just ahead of JJ and James, who is now slowly starting to make a little bit of a gap and pull away from these drivers. So James will have to make a move and make it quickly, otherwise he's going to let Andre run away way too far and he will be struggling to catch back up to him. Just like as I was busy saying that, you can see James Crook now having a look up on the inside there of JJ, but JJ running the wider line gets a better drive out of turn 2 as they're now going through turn 3, as James is still trying to make his move onto JJ, but he is sitting on the back bumper, easing off a little bit earlier and letting JJ overshoot that corner big time, almost hitting the tire barrier as they were going there through turn 4.
One big upgrade out of safety is Peter Faulkner. Faulkner is, as we all know, the dang legend. He's on a crazy shot. He took out Anthony Williams just in the previous lap. He's charging up behind JJ now. Look at that. That's short. This is really baptism by fire for JJ. Driving against these really fast drivers. Wow. And they actually having the road. Outside, spot today, that's 49. Three, let's see who has the guts to put the car in the right place, take the right time racer with us doing all of this work. When you look, the talent is there.
Yeah, while we were busy watching that commentary from your side, I could actually again see JJ that was busy having a lag spike, and he was a little bit away from Peter Grobler, and all of a sudden, you know, Grobbies was right on him and unfortunately made some contact with him, but not to the detriment of JJ, but to himself, losing out quite a lot of time and space there from JJ. So JJ might have to have a little bit of a look on his internet connection, because that might cause some problems and issues out there on the track for the drivers.
Yes, no, that is 100% true. Like, I'm busy looking at this ping at the moment. We have JJ, whose ping is fluctuating quite a bit. For those in IT, hi guys, hi my brothers. It's jumping between 60, right now it's at 130, like it just skyrockets here and there, so JJ is really having a bit of ping and connecting to the sim. But that's sim racing for you, online sim racing, it happens.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, I'm having a look up in the pole position. We still have Basil out there in P1, and he's having a little bit of a lonely race out there. Let's not call on the Sangomas and get the commentators' curse going just yet, as we do know these cars get a lot more tricky to drive the longer the race progresses. In second place, we've still got Melvin Goos, who has Craig Wesley right on the back of his bumper. I think this is going to be a battle where I need to stay and watch for a little while, as he is closing in on Melvin Goos at the moment. He's really putting a lot of pressure on and hoping that Melvin makes a small mistake so that he can capitalize on that, or he's just going to have to, you know, close his eyes and go a little bit balls to the walls to make that pass on Melvin, as he's now running wide around going into turn 5. But Melvin has the better line, hard on the brakes, unfortunately has to fall back in behind Melvin there, as they're now going through turn 6, heading down to turn 7. Melvin runs a little bit wide, but he gets a very good run out there as they're going into turn 8 now. This is the tricky one when it comes down into Main Straight. If you have a good drive out here, you can make a move into turn 1 as well as turn 2. But Melvin is keeping his cool as they are busy now going through turn 2 or turn 1, heading down to turn 2. And Craig is again just closing that gap onto Melvin, as he's got a much better drive going through turn 2 there. But Peter Geldenhuys is also joining into this fight. It's going to become a three-way battle now for second position. Can Melvin hold on to this one, or will he lose out onto 1 or even 2 positions for this race?
I must say, I would hate to be Craig at this moment, because yes, he's catching up to Melvin, he's pushing Melvin, keeping Melvin honest, but behind him is the great Peter Geldenhuys. Like, you just know, when he's sitting behind you, he's just waiting. He's just waiting for you to do something wrong and count. When he counts it, yeah, it's really hard to get back there. As you can see, Peter is right on his bumper. Right? Is there a tow rope there? I'm not too sure. He's so good. He's just so good.
Yeah, but yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting battle to watch, because like you said, you know, Melvin in the front, he's on the easy position. Not easy, but you know, it's a better position because he only has to worry and defend for Craig Wesley at the moment, where Craig, that's in the middle, has to worry about attacking on Melvin but also defending on Peter Geldenhuys, and then Peter again only has to worry about attacking on Craig. So 2 drivers has to worry about one thing, but the one in the middle has to worry about the guys ahead and behind him. So it's a very tough spot to be, because you do not know where to focus and where to concentrate, whether you should be concentrating on attacking or defending it. That makes it very, very difficult to race in that position.
You're looking at the mirrors and you're looking through your windshield at the same time. Like, yes, we all have 2 eyes, but you can't focus on 2 things at once. Something has to be done. Right. What I can see further down on the track, the pro black is not quite a way down. With later, and they're busy fighting one another. But if I'm not mistaken, I have sure, but they're busy fighting one with one another. And I don't know, I think maybe not, maybe he's actually really close to them as well. So
You know, Now we've got JJ in 6th position with Voro Dippener right behind him, having a look up on the inside going through turn 2, but not being able to make that move on JJ as he just closed the door on Voro. And then we've got Peter Grobler, who is busy racing under a blue flag that is right behind them, and unfortunately JJ just goes off the track and hits the barrier quite hard, as I'm not too sure how much damage is going to be on that car and whether he'll be able to actually continue with this race, but we'll have to keep an eye out on that one. But Peter Grobler is racing under a blue flag and just having fun out there with Voro at the moment.
Got a visit from Mr. Barry. Mr. Barry R. He came by and hopefully he's still alright. Not too much vibration in his wheel when he actually felt that crash. But then again, this is the baptism by fire that we're talking about. We're pushing it and we're pushing it to the limit. And on this track in particular, Zwartkops is really, really fast and quick. And it's on the nitrate.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, just a little bit of a run through the pack. We've got Basil in P1, Melvin in P2, Craig still in P3, Peter Geldenays in P4. Now we've got Andre that is there in P5 as well. Voro still in P6, JJ P7th, P8 is Anthony, P9th is Yandere, P10th is Donnie, and then in 11th we've got Michael, in 12th we've got James Crook, and in 13th we've got Peter Grobler.
But I'm not too sure, is that Malcolm who's sitting on turn 3 on the side of the road? Like, he's dropping crazy.
Yes, that is Melvin that's sitting there in turn 3 on the side road. I'm not too sure whether he maybe has blown his engine or what's going on, but it seems like Melvin is out of this one. I'm really not too sure. Yeah, Melvin just said on the YouTube channel that he blew the motor. That is extremely sad. He had such a great race out there, and blowing the motor kind of puts a little bit of a bummer into that one. That now leaves Mr. Craig Wesley in 2nd position, with Peter Geldenays still hot on his heels in P3, and then you've got Donnie van Rooyen, who is in P10 pushing to try and unlap himself right there behind the top runners for this race. So he does know that he is racing under a blue flag, but he also knows that he needs to make a move and make up some positions if he wants to get out underneath that one lap down at the moment.
That is so unfortunate. When you're pushing it so hard, it's happening. Maybe it was when you were shifting down in the corner, hit the rev limiter a little too much, and then you said, I can't do this. Had a little offload or something. Bye-bye. That sucks, but we have to move on. That is racing. We have to make it. So let's move on. And Craig is probably celebrating right now so that he doesn't have that pressure anymore. But again, that doesn't
Well, I'm actually busy watching here on Peter and Craig, and they have came up behind Yandere at the moment, who is really trying to fight and keep his position and his pace up ahead. Although he's racing under a blue flag, he's really trying to keep that lap position and not let them pass, because the moment they go past, he goes one lap down. So he's really trying his best to keep them behind him. But we've got Craig Wesley, who now made his move and overtook Yandere, but now Yandere's got Peter Geldenays as well as Donnie van Rooyen right behind him, and they're all looking to make a move on him, as Geldenays just comfortably slid that very nice yellow and pink Mustang past him there, going into turn 5 at the moment. They've now passed him, as well as Donnie has passed Yandere. So Donnie actually was a little bit sneaky on that one, sitting right behind these two drivers who is actually leading the race. And Yandere was racing under blue flag, so he maybe thought it's another fast driver that was coming through and opened the door there for Donnie to actually take that 8th position away from him.
He does best, just finding opportunity and scavenge that once again. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the race is actually over. That caught me by surprise.
Yeah, they're actually busy on their final lap, it says here. So in P1 we have Basil, P2 Craig, P3 Peter Geldenhuys, P4 is Andre. Then we've got Voro who finished there in P5. JJ is out for his first time tonight and finishing in P6. Anthony that is finishing in, well, was supposed to be finishing in P7th, but he's actually standing next to the track. So that's going to cause the drivers to actually, come past him and maybe finish ahead of him. Although the drivers is busy disconnecting and it says that they have finished. So I'm not sure what's going on with my timing side. But we've got Anthony in P7th, Donnie in P8th, Yandre P9th, Michael in P10th, James P11th, Peter Grobler in P12th, and then Melvin Goos in P13 after blowing his motor there. So let's see if they can maybe get this car sorted and ready and get them out for race number 2. Maybe they can pull up a a world record for changing a motor on these cars.
Yes, that is true. I also just saw in the YouTube, Melvin did confirm that he shifted down a little too hard and then started to have smoke, and then kaboom! Little explosion there, weapon of mass destruction under the hood over there. And also thanks, Melvin, for letting me know that my mic was a little soft, so I've just raised it a bit. I hope it's better now for you. And yeah. Oh, and we also see Peter Geldenhuys saying that that was a race and a half. Like, what a race. Yeah, it was. I lost track of the race. I was surprised when it was over. I was like, wait, why are people slowing down? I was like, oh yes, the checkered flag was waved.
Yeah, no, I completely missed the end of that one as well. Not too sure how we got that right, but we got it right to miss the end of the race.
That's how good our races are, I must say. You forget. You just wanted to keep going, keep going, keep going.
Yeah, no, definitely clear. Like you say, it becomes a little bit tricky to, be able to keep up and know exactly what's happening where. But like I said, the guys are busy getting sorted for race number 2. Melvin and them is hard working there in the pits trying to do a quick engine swap. Luckily, these things are just, like 4 bolts in the gearbox and then 2 bolts on the engine mountings. They've got an engine already set up with a flywheel, everything with the mountings bolted to it. So they literally just loosen the gearbox, loosen the 2 mountings, pull it out, put the new one in, tighten everything up, connect all the hoses and plug in all the plugs, and there they go. So it should only take them about 30 minutes to do it. In this case, a little bit less than that.
It sounds like you've done this before, Tommy. You sound very experienced in that.
Yeah, well, coming from racing, as growing up with it in our household, and we you tend to know and see how the things is done. And when it comes to racing cars, they try and make it as easy as possible to be able to replace or repair something when anything happens. So instead of having 12 bolts holding the gearbox, you just use the 4 main ones, and it's easier and quicker to loosen only 4 instead of 12. And when it comes to like doing an engine swap, you try and keep the thing as complete as possible, so it's just take out and put in.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. It's not like you're taking it to the dealer and then you have to wait 5 months for the engine to arrive.
Yeah, no, that is true, because then it has to get imported, and it becomes a little bit more of a problem.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Well, clear, that was the first race for round number 3, and I have to say it was quite an interesting one out there. There was action all over the track, and the guys was actually quite close to each other. And unfortunately, we had a little bit of a bad start, but at the end of the day, the racing was still good going down the race.
Oh no, that racing was awesome. We saw a lot of battles all over the place. We saw guys showing what they're worth. JJ for his first race really pushing it to the limit, giving the veterans a run for their money, showing them that yes, you might have more experience or might even have experience in the real world. I'm not too sure if JJ has it as well, but JJ showed he's good. He can run with the best.
Yeah, no, definitely. He actually showed that he's capable of running up there. Although he's still got a little bit to learn of the cars and the tracks, and to get this car under control. It's not an easy car to drive. Hence why I'm sitting in the commentator's booth and not behind the wheel of one of these beasts, because that is exactly what it is. It's a beast, and it will show you who is boss. And it's one thing that got me under. I just could not get the grip on these cars.
Is it really because you couldn't get the grip, or you just didn't want to show off to everyone that you're like the greatest driver? Are you sandbagging us? That's what you tried to show us, Tommy, because we've seen you in the MX-5s and we've seen what you can do. So it's rear-wheel drive, not as much torque, I guess.
No, it's that's the one thing that I really do struggle with, and that is a rear-wheel drive car. I just can't get the handle on it. That's also why I don't do drifting, because I just cannot do it. I've tried it. I've got people, telling me, okay, you need to do this now and then do that and then do that, and yeah, no, it just does not work for me. And thank you for the compliment, but Cleo, I'm by far the best driver out there. I get beaten every race so far. I mean, Grobis he is extremely fast, as well as Melvin. And then I've still got a driver that I fear to race against, who is the new up and coming mini host, like we call him, the son of Melvin Goes, Kian Goes. He's a 16-year-old who started doing sim racing. His first league that he is participating in is the MX5 Cup for sim experience, and that young man is just driving the hell out of those cars. And I still fear the day to be able, or to go up against him and participate in the race with him at the same time.
I'm actually just looking forward to racing against him myself, just to have that host blessing once again. his father has blessed me with the skill that he has shown me, and now to run against Kian, that will also be pretty awesome to see. But it's 8 seconds before the start of the race, so let's get ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're off again.
Again, it looks like there's a little bit of a slow start from some of the drivers. I think they were just a little bit more patient this time off the line, and they're now heading into turn 2. It's a very nice race. Oh no, there's big drama as JJ has a lag spike again, causing some of the drivers to go into him. I think that was Donnie van Rooyen, who you could see in the back just made contact with JJ and went flying into the air, luckily not flipping the car over but keeping it steady on its wheels. But there is a little bit of a problem out there with JJ's internet connection, as he now runs wide and hits the wall as well. I think that's Anthony that now dropped down all the way into the back of the pits. Unfortunately, the damage on Downey's car is severe and he has a DNF. So he unfortunately is out of this race, which is quite sad to see. But unfortunately, it is sim racing, and you do get that little gremlins that just sneaks up and comes and causes some issues. I think we need to hang little bells on all of the pieces that we can keep these gremlins away.
Yeah, like I actually saw that happening live in the live timings when JJ's ping jumped up to like 300 milliseconds. So just so that for the viewers to understand, we're usually working with around 60, and if you're right close to the server, maybe 10, 11, 14 milliseconds of ping. But he jumped up to 300. So yeah, that was a massive spike that just ruined the race for him, and also took out a few guys at the same time. Anthony Moritz is in the pits at the moment. I'm not sure if that's also maybe because of penalties, but yeah, he's in the pits right now and he's not moving at the moment.
I think that he was also a part of that incident, and he had some severe damage to the car, and unfortunately he is out for this race. I'm not too sure whether he's maybe gone back to the pits and they're quickly doing some repairs, and he'll rejoin the race as soon as they have completed the repairs and get back and going. He might be right at the back of the field, but as long as he finishes the race, he will get some points still for this one.
True. I'm looking at the front 4 drivers. It's the same guys all over again: Basil, Craig, Peter, and Melvin. So Melvin really is pushing his car. He's like going to make up for what happened before. Not going to downshift too aggressively this time, but he's just going to slowly try and move his way up. I see Peter Frobler is going to try to put some pressure on Andre Besson right now, because he's also trying to find something to do there. What we also have James Crook. He is chasing after Peter Frobler. We know JJ fell back because of the lag spike that he had. And yeah, this is looking like everyone's pretty spread out. Everyone looks a little calm right now after the turn 3 crazy chaos, but everyone is alright.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, again, Basil is having a little bit of a lonely race out in the front. He is freaking fast out in these cars as well as the Polos. So he's an all-rounder. He can drive a front-wheel drive, he can race with a rear-wheel drive. No matter what you put in, he can make the cars work, and he knows how to do the setups on these cars. So he's most probably just going to be running away with this one again. But behind him, we've got a nice three-way battle going between Craig, Peter Gelmanes and Melvin Close there for second position, with Craig slightly pulling away from Peter and Melvin. But I'm pretty sure they will close the gap and reel him back in if they stop fighting with each other and start working together instead of, trying to overtake each other. They can catch up. Behind them, we've got Michael Rust and Volro Dippenaar, who is busy fighting there for that fifth position. Oh, and Michael unfortunately runs in a little bit hot into, I'm not too sure, I think that is turn 5, and makes a little bit of contact with Volro, but allows him to retake that position. But now Michael has Andre, Peter and James Crook all the way behind him, so now there's 3 drivers right on top of him. So they're going to also fight out now for that 6th position. So this is going to be an interesting one. As we're busy talking, we can see James Crook now having a look up on the inside of Peter Grobler as they're going into turn 1, running a bit wide out of turn 1 onto the grass. Now he's got to get on the brakes hard, trying to get that inside line on Peter Grobler, defending it very well and taking that 7th position away there. Sorry, it's 8th position away from Peter Grobler and starting to work his way there onto Andre Passon.
What skill between James Crook and Grobler. Like, that was amazing. Side-by-side action, trading places, not trading paint. Beautiful, beautiful skill that we're seeing over there. Jean-Andre Dippenaar sitting in P10. He's all by himself on the track right now at the back. But as we know, Basil is pushing a fellow PZM driver. He's pushing his car, trying to catch up to them. So this trade that's sitting at the back is pretty not close, but they're calm. Everything looks good. But I also see Andre Passon is getting that pressure from James Crook at the moment right now, and he's making him sweat going into turn 1 right now. Let's see what actually happens when they actually enter turn 2. Who will do the undercut? Maybe. And look at that skill right there. Forced the move on him, took the place. James Crook said, "No sir, this is how we do things. I have a little more experience than you, and I'm going to take this place. I'm going to steal it because I'm a crook." Yes, the joke had been. I set that joke up from the first lap. That's what I did.
Well done to that one. That is really top class from you there, getting that one in. I'm pretty sure if he listens to the stream, you might get a little bit of a WhatsApp message from him there. But well done to that. I'm just jumping there into, going a little bit onto Volro and Michael Rust, as Volro runs sideways going there through turn 8 into the start finish, now allowing Michael Rust to get right up on the inside of him, but he does back out of that one and letting Volro go through turn 1, and now going to have a look up on the inside of turn 2, and Volro runs a little bit wide onto that kitty litter, and they're going side by side coming out of turn 2, now going through turn 3, which is a very fast right-hander. They're still side by side, and they're getting into this very dangerous turn 4, getting onto the brakes, dropping one gear off the brakes, trying to go through, as Volro is now having a look up on the inside again there of Michael Rust, and they've got James Crook who's also up in the mix now. So now this is a 3-way battle going into turn 5, as there was some contact between Michael and Volro, and unfortunately Volro loses out on that one and drops down with another 2 positions. Well, that's 3 positions that he lost out, going all the way from 5th down into 9th position there. That's very sad. Sorry, 6th to 9th. That's quite sad to see, but again, it is racing, and you do have these moments where you push a little bit too hard and you come in second best.
I see Anthony Moritz is coming out, so he's going to be really far back in this race at the moment, and he's going to be a little bit of an obstacle, but also right at the front of the track right now. Basil has caught up to Jean-Andre Dippenaar, so Jean-Andre is now the blue flag in front of Basil, and will he yield the position easily? But then again, we're at a section of the track where it's a little hard to actually yield that position when you're pushing this this beast of a car, this leery car, so it may be related to Tommy in a sense. I had to do it, Tommy, I had to do it. But yeah. Let's see what Basil can actually do to get around Andre.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what happened there, but I see Peter Geldenhuys has lost it out on the track and has dropped down all the way into 9th position. That's also quite sad to see. He was running there into the top 5 positions and now he's all the way down into 9th. So that again puts Mr. Craig Wesley still in 2nd position with Melvin Goes right behind him. Michael Rusted still has James Crook all over the back bumper of him with Andre Passon and Peter Grobber, and he's also fighting it out there for 6th position. So all through the pack except for in the front with Basil, there is fights going on all over. Mr. Craig Wesley now having John or Jandre Dippenaar up ahead of him as they're going through turn 5 heading into turn 6. They are side by side and Jandre is keeping that wide line, leaving the door open for Craig Wesley to come through. Very nice sportsmanship there from him, just letting the drivers through as he is racing under a blue flag. He's got his line through the corner. I'm pretty sure he will move over into the inside line, coming out there and letting Melvin close through. As I see there was a little bit of contact between these two drivers, but Melvin just gave that position back to Jandre as he knew that was his mistake, and then again just takes that position over and continues his race in 3rd position and Jandre in 10th position. So again, very nice sportsmanship. Although Melvin knew that he is one of the top runners, he still allowed Jandre to rejoin the track in the position where he was and then made his move afterwards on him again.
Yeah, just so the viewers also at home understand what's actually happening is that's just how it has to be done. Everyone is running their own race. So just because Jandre is being lapped at the moment doesn't mean that he actually has to drive slow. He just needs to yield for the drivers behind him, but he still needs to push his car as hard as he can because it's his own race. He doesn't want to be dead last. So he yields the position, but then again, if he gets taken out by one of the front runners have to apologize by giving the position back and continue their race there. So another thing that we also need to take into consideration is having a blue marker, a back marker, that will hold you up. As you can see, look at the gap between Basil, Craig, Melvin and Michael Rust. Before they were so close together, but as soon as they met Jandre, so Jandre said, slow down everyone, chill, let's take this easy. And now we have them all spread out now. So.
Yeah, no, look, when it comes to racing under blue flag or being a back marker as we call it, you know, yes, you've got a faster driver behind you, so it doesn't mean pull out the way, get on the brakes and stop for them to pass. It means keep your line. So basically coming out of the corner, you know the faster racing line, for instance, is on the outside of the track. So after the corner, you move to the inside, allowing the faster driver to pass you. You can ease off the acceleration if you want to, but if you are busy being in a fight with another driver, you cannot get off the gas. So you try and move out the way, let the faster driver pass you as they are faster than you. But when it comes to getting close to the corner and they have not yet passed you, you are allowed to take the racing line and continue your race through the corner. Where after, at the end of the corner, you again just, you know, you move out of the way and allow them to get that opportunity to pass you again. So you try and not, you know, keep them back as much, but you also don't just give up your own race for them to, you know, go on and race their own race.
That's 100%. So for the viewers at home, you've now attended Tommy and Cleopatra's School of Racing. That was a free course for you today. I hope you paid tuition by joining us in the next stream as well. And then continue to get more tips from us when we're actually doing the racing and more information of what's actually happening on the track. One thing I wanted to also bring up is that if we actually look at the lap times that these guys are putting down, they're not breaking the 1 minute barrier anymore. Ooh, hold on. I just saw an accident that Andre Dippenaar went off track just now. I'm not sure what happened. There was a little bit of contact on that corner and yeah, but I think he's alright. He's back on the track now. But back to what I was saying, everyone's doing lap times of around 1 minute flat. So guys are really, really pushing it. So yeah, this is really, really a good race.
These guys are really pushing it as hard as possible. You can see Craig Wesley is slowly closing that gap down onto Basil again. I'm not too sure whether Basil went off the track or what happened there, but you can see that, you know, Craig has been able to creep up a little bit closer again, and he's still busy closing the gap, now down to a 3.8 second gap, and it's still dropping down. So I think Craig was racing a little bit more conservative with his tires, and now coming to the end of the race he starts going flat out to this little Mustang, and he will hopefully be able to close that gap between him and Basil, and maybe even take that first position away from Basil, unless Basil has decided that he's going to ease off a bit because it's boring to race on his own all the way out in the front and wants a little bit of a fight for that position. So it's going to be a nice thing to see what happens at the end of the race, and whether Craig can actually sneak up and take that position away from him again. So just having a little bit of a look at the YouTube channel, it's a little bit quiet out there. I'm guessing that's because Cleo is in the commentator's booth and not on his keyboard. But I see we've got Rudy van der Westhuizen, who just a little bit of a reminder, I think he's the owner of Walvis Bay Marine Industrial Coatings from Namibia, who is our main sponsor. It's always nice to see him have a look in the YouTube channel, saying hi to all of the guys racing. So welcome to you, Rudy. It's nice to have you out there, but it's also sad to see you not out on the track. I do know that your PC had a little bit of a accident last weekend, so I hope you're back up and going as soon as possible.
I can't wait for Rudy to get back behind the wheel. Rudy's such an awesome driver, and yeah, he's missed behind the wheel in any of these races. So yeah, when he's back up and running, look out for him. He is wicked fast as well. Ooh, I'm just seeing something. Oh, something happened to Craig just now. I'm not sure if he just went wide or if there was... Yeah, I think he just went wide on the track. Like, just at that moment, I just looked down, looked at the timing, and I just saw Craig was going off the track. And yeah, he actually lost his position to Melvin, and Melvin's now trying to run with it. So I guess Craig was just pushing it just a little too fast, too hard in that fast corner that Tommy was talking about quite a bit. I think that's turn 4 if I'm not mistaken. He was just pushing it, went wide, and then Melvin said, "Well done, sir. I am coming to take P2 from you." And mind you, there's only 1.5 minutes left, and then 1 lap afterwards. So yes, a lot can still happen in this race. There's so much action to be had, and cars are quite spread out at the moment as well.
Yeah, no, they are quite spread out, and while I am busy watching Melvin close and Craig, Melvin ran a little bit wide through turn 1, losing the back end and allowing Craig now to sneak past again as I go through turn 3, getting into turn 4, which is a very difficult corner to go through. Like we said, you know, it's hard on the brakes, drop a gear, and then try and get the very good drive through that corner. So now Craig has moved up into second position again, with just a little bit of Sangoma luck all the way from Cleopas that allowed Melvin to lose that back end a little bit. But Melvin is not going to stop fighting for that P2, and he's coming back hard. As you can see, he's pushing that little car of his as hard as possible, getting it slightly sideways through the corners. But again, these cars do go through fuel, and they become a little bit lighter. And then you've got your tire wear that you've got on as well, which is quite a lot of tire wear that these cars have. So coming down to 2 or 3 laps left, you end up having a car that is literally racing on ice blocks, and that is where the driver's skill comes in to get you through this race.
That is 100% correct. Yes, I was tossing a few bones just now, just, you know, keeping things interesting. Oh, and I just saw that Jandre had a little bit of an issue in going close to the pit entry, but back to Craig and Melvin. Melvin's going to push really, really hard, but as we know, as Tommy also said just now, those tires are probably really cooked. They're driving on ice cubes at the moment. So all it takes is 1 dab of the throttle in one of the corners for that back end to step out, and you lose it completely. And if you lose it now, this is right at the end of the race, you're not going to make up your position after that, unless they also lose it, whoever passes you. So. And what I see is James Crook and Peter Caldenes. I think those two are also going to try pushing for this final lap and see what they can actually salvage from this race at the end.
Yeah, no, they are sitting close to each other, with about 0.5 of a second between these two drivers, as they are really trying to make up positions at the end of this race. I'm I'm gonna go to the front of the race there onto Basil, as he's now going through turn 5 on the final lap of race number 2 for round 3 of the V8 Masters. Going through turn 6, now getting into turn 7, getting down onto the gas pedal as he now runs into turn 8, and will be finishing this one in pole position. So that is Basil that is finishing in P1. Then we've got Melvin that is really pushing it hard on the back of Craig, and unfortunately loses it as they were going through turn 7, and unfortunately drops down into P4. And Craig slowing down, finishing the race there in P2. Michael Rust finishing in P4. Sorry, P3. Peter Grobler finishing in P4. Andre coming home in P5. Boro in P6. James right behind him in P7. And unfortunately Melvin is still stuck on the track. I'm not too sure whether he unfortunately blew the motor again, but he is stuck out there on the track with Peter Geldenhuys, that has now made his way slowly past Melvin. But I cannot believe this. He is busy reversing down on the track as Yandre is making his move past Melvin, and Peter is going to try and get Melvin to be able to push him down into the start finish, but Melvin's car just doesn't want to go anywhere. So I think that means that he actually seized up his gearbox and can't move anywhere. That is so unfortunate to see that happening with the car stuck on the track, as Peter Geldenhuys has not even he's finishing the race in reverse gear. Peter Geldenhuys literally just reversed his car over the start finish and finishes this one in P8. It is so sad to see Melvin still stuck there on the track. We need to get a breakdown out there and get him off the track there.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need someone to come and pick up that car because, yeah, it's stuck. That thing is not moving. Peter tried his best, but nope, that car is stuck there.
Yeah, no. Unfortunately, that is the end of race number 2, and that puts us at the end of round 3 of the V8 Masters for 2021. The very first V8 Masters brought to you by Sim Race Africa crew, as well as Marine Industrial Coatings from Walvis Bay, Namibia. We're going to see if we can get some of the drivers in here to the commentators booth to have a little bit of a chat to us. And we're gonna see if some of them is willing to have some fun with us in here. Cleo, I'll be right back. Let me run down there into the start or into the pits and see who is willing to join us in here.
No problem. That was just crazy. And just like I was saying before, this was the last lap of the race. The guys were busy pushing as hard as possible, and clearly that time Melvin saw that it's a do or die moment. It's now or never. He has to pass Craig here or not. If he doesn't, he's not going to get the position. He pushed it. He cooked it a little too much, overcooked it, and then bumped him. And yeah, that was the end of his race, basically. So the car is down, and he's stuck. And now we actually saw him then fall all those positions down. Tried to push Melvin out of the track, but he couldn't actually do it at the moment.
Well, Cleo, we've got some people in here with us that is willing to have a little bit of a chat.
Hey, nice, perfect. Who do we have?
Well, we've got the man himself that finished in P1, both race 1 and 2, Basil, and then we've got Craig Wesley who finished in P2, race 1 and 2, that's with us in here.
Woohoo! Welcome, guys. Welcome. Basil, Mr. Speed, please tell us what was going on in that race.
Yes, guys, I just kept it clean.
You always do.
That's the
Always driving
best.
clean, always pushing.
That's the best way to drive that monster.
I
Yeah, no,
can imagine.
they are quite slippery. We saw some of the people that ended up blowing motors, seizing up gearboxes, and then there was quite some action at the start of the race. Both race 1 and race 2 of some people being either too fast off the line or too slow off the line. What was going on there?
Yeah, I think it was Peter that jumped the first race.
Mhm.
Peter and
Oh.
James.
Okay. So some guys were busy jumping off the line. Is that why those guys were getting penalties and then they all jumped into the pits then?
Yeah, I was waiting for the lights to go off and I checked. Oh, there's 2 cars moving. Luckily, I almost pressed the first gear. It was, but I just waited for it and then yeah, it was nice, man. We're very lucky.
Oh, no, that's
That's cool.
understandable.
Mr. Weasley, why are you
Yeah,
so
it's me.
quiet?
I'm waiting for everyone to finish speaking, man.
How was the race out there for you? You had P2 for both race 1 and 2. Well done.
Yeah, very, very unexpected. At one stage, I really thought I was going to catch Basil, but I mean, after doing so many laps on the track, he probably do it blindfolded. So I didn't stand much chance there to get first place. I really don't know what happened to Melvin's rig. I can only presume something happened to his rig because he slowed down quite dramatically as well, which was a
Yeah,
bit sad. And then, of course, the second race, last sort of couple of corners, and he spun off. So it was really disappointing. I thought he was going to take me on the end there.
I know in race 1 he blew his motor, and I think in race 2 he might have seized his gearbox because he was just stuck on the track, and Mr. Geldenes tried to actually come. Even before he finished his race, he saw Melvin was stuck, then he stopped, then reversed back, tried to push Melvin to the line, but that car was like a donkey out there. He just said he's not going anywhere, he just wanted to stay there on the track.
Look, I know Melvin's had a bit of issue with his pedal before, so his throttle wasn't working all the way. Maybe that was what happened.
Mhm.
But yeah, we'd have to wait and see what happened with Melvin.
I see.
But great
One
race. I mean, I was quite impressed. I was quite chuffed with second place there.
One thing that I want to actually ask both of you, because you both actually encountered, and he actually is in the booth right now, the winner of the rally. You encountered Jandre when he was a back marker. How was it actually getting past him? Because from our side, it looked like Jandre was pushing, but he was very respectful, very clean, very open to let you guys go through and have your races. So how did you guys find that?
Absolutely. I mean, Janeman's always been like that. I mean, he's a gentle giant on the track. I got all the respect in the world for the guy.
Yeah, same here, guys. No, Jans did a great job leading us both.
And he was only at the back of the pack in this one, eh? In real life, he comes first.
No, of course. That's exactly that's a good transition to Mr. Jandre himself, the winner of that rally this weekend. Welcome, Jandre. Congratulations. That was awesome work by you. And we also understand this race, you're probably so exhausted. So you're driving in real life, now you're driving virtually. So how was it for you?
Jans? Flips, I think it's op mute.
He's a bit speechless.
But Clem was...
I think what he really wants to say is it's actually much easier driving in real life than it is in driving sim cars.
Yeah, that's what he says a lot of the time. He says that quite a bit.
Guys, I can tell you we left Zwartkops about at 10ish this morning.
Mhm.
Yeah, we are really tired.
You say you're tired, yet you ran like a crazy race just now, led from the start, and you never let off. So I'm not too sure how tired you really are right now.
I saw Craig coming, catching me the first few laps. Yes, I was like, come, Uncle Craig, let's go.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't going to happen, but yeah, well done for that.
But I think all in all, the racing was clean. So yeah, congrats to all the guys. Yes, there were some mistakes, but yeah, very nice.
Yeah, no, I have to say well done to everyone out there. was good racing. It was clean. Yes, there was a little bit of hiccups here and there with some of the guys having some bad ping spikes, and it ended up a little bit of bad contact there. But it is sim racing, and it is what it is. We do get the technical gremlins out there, but overall, well done to the gentleman that was busy racing.
Okay, guys, thank you for doing the great job.
Yeah,
And
thanks,
enjoy,
commentators.
man. Yeah, guys, really, you guys, yeah, 10 out of 10 for you, eh?
thanks,
Oh,
man. We
thank
do
you so
appreciate
much.
it.
Both Tommy and Cleopas. Well done. Well done.
Yeah,
Thank you so
absolutely.
much.
Well,
Okay,
to
You
the
guys.
guys
view,
make it easy for us.
to the viewers out there and the guys that's still in the or in the chat in the YouTube channel with us, coming live to you at 7 o'clock is Sim Experience MX5. It is the finals tonight, and we have SRAC members racing in both Division 2 and Division 1. So please join in the YouTube channel for them, support us, and let's get this one going as well.
I'm so excited. It's the final. We're going to see some pace, and also seeing what you were telling us earlier, the times you were putting down. Yep, I'm looking forward to seeing you capitalize on that, Tommy. So no pressure on you, sir.
Yeah.
Cleo, leave that Sangoma alone, please.
Yeah, good luck to you, Tommy, and I will join you guys in the chat later.
Thanks, Basil.
Sweet.
See you guys on the YouTube channel.
What's up, guys?
Peter,
Bye.
Melvin, Craig, see you out on the track. Enjoy the racing. Thank you for joining, everyone. Have a good night. Be safe out there, and just enjoy the week. And we'll see you back next week, Sunday, for the SRAC Polar Cup for 2021. Join us. Enjoy the live stream there with Peter Geldenhuys, as well as Cleo, that will be keeping you company for that one. And then, unfortunately, the rest of us will be out on the track trying to do our thing and keep the cars in one piece. See you guys next week. Cheers. Bye.
Cheers.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.